Hello everyone, I hope you're doing well. Welcome to my channel. My name is Josie. Today it is raining quite profusely outside, so if you hear any noise, it's probably the rain. So I had a completely different video idea to put up this week, but the rain has intervened. So today I'm just going to go through my TBR, books that I'm hoping to get around to reading within the next few months. I don't like being too stringent with the books that I'm planning to read, just because I'm very much a mood reader. I cannot for the life of me force myself to read a book if I'm not feeling the vibe, even when I'm picking it up. That's a surefire way of me DNFing a book. So I always have to just be in the right frame of mind and just have the right vibes going for me to start a book. So I think it's always a good option for me to have a varied amount of different types of books for me to have at the ready, so I have options. So yeah, let's get into it, shall we? I have my iPad here, which has my kind of TBR list that I have saved on my library app, because I download ebooks. I have books saved on here. I've got some physical books as well, but I think I might just go through these ones first. Okay, so the first one I have here is After Story by Larissa Berendt. This book centers around an Indigenous lawyer and her mother. It's very much a family story. Those are always kind of a favorite for me, especially when it comes to stories centering around Aboriginal characters, because if the story is centered around family, I think there is a lot of knowledge and culture that can be learnt throughout the narrative. I'm very excited to read this, hopefully soon. It just seems very much up my alley, especially since the main character Jasmine seems to be someone who very much loves classic literature, so I'm excited for that. Yeah, so the next one is Conversations with Friends by Sally Rooney. I have read Beautiful World, Where Are You, and Normal Friends by her, and I thoroughly enjoyed them both. I think they were very easy reads, but they were enjoyable, although sometimes the characters kind of annoyed me. But the characters sometimes were unlikable, but I still wanted to see what was happening with them. I think she's very good at writing characters, so I'm very keen to read this one. Next I have The Seven Husbands of Evelyn Hugo by Taylor Jenkins Reid. And pretty much anything by Taylor Jenkins Reid, so Malibu Rising and Daisy Jones and the Six as well. I've heard so many good things about it. People have said that her writing is like cocaine, and I have not gotten around to reading any of her books, so I'm very excited to finally read them. Next I have Almond by Won Pyung Son. I first became aware of this book because it was on a variety show with BTS called In the Soup. Namjoon and Yoongi both read this book, and I've been interested in it ever since, and I've never gotten around to reading it, so that's what I'm doing next. So that is on my list. On Earth, We're Briefly Gorgeous by Ocean Vuong. I have heard so many good things about this book, but I have not gotten around to it yet. I heard it's very kind of family orientated, and that will be a surefire way to make me cry. It sounds like a beautiful book, and I am very excited to read it. Next, I have A Court of Thorns and Roses by Sarah J. Maas. I have never read anything by Sarah J. Maas, but you know, why not try? Yeah, like why not just give it a go? So I'm going to try it out and see if I like it. If I don't, then that's fine. But I should always try something before I say I'm not interested, even if I DNF it. Next up, I have Daughter of the Moon Goddess by Su Lin Tan. This is a debut novel, and I think it's a recent release, and it's a mythological retelling. I'm pretty sure that it's inspired by a Chinese legend, and I've said multiple times before that I love mythological retellings, so sign me up for this. I cannot wait to read it because it seems wonderful. And I've seen a lot of bookstagrammers with their copies of this book, and it is gorgeous. So if I like this book, I will absolutely 100% buy a copy of it because it is gorgeous. Next, I have Gallant by Gallant by V. Schwab. I don't know much about this book other than I've seen a lot of people on Instagram talk about it, so I'm quite interested in that. I've not read anything by V. Schwab yet, so I'm quite interested in this. I haven't heard a lot of opinions on it. I've seen it quite a lot just because the cover is very attractive, but I don't know if it's any good, so I should read it for myself. Next up is Billa Yada Dangalang Dere by Anita Heiss. This book is kind of a fusion between true historical events and kind of fiction elements, so I'm very excited to read this. I believe that it is about a flood that happened in New South Wales in 1852, maybe. That's the whole thing. I haven't read it yet, so I'm not 100% sure. Powerful Murrumbidgee River surges through town, leaving death and destruction in its wake. It is a stark reminder that while the river can give life, it can just as easily take it away. Set on timeless Wiradjuri country, where the life-giving waters of the rivers can make or break dreams, and based on devastating true events, Billa Yada Dangalang Dere, River of Dreams, is an epic story of love, loss, and belonging. It seems like a really beautiful story. I love Anita Heiss's writing, so I'm very excited to read this. Next is Terra Nullius by Claire G. Coleman. This is another book written by an Indigenous woman. I don't know if you can tell, but I will always support Indigenous female writers because I gotta support my sister girls is the whole point. This is based in Australia in the future, and I think it kind of shows a parallel of what happened in Australia during the British invasion, but the invading force is the Greyskins, I think. But I think while being kind of science fiction based, it tells this truth of what happened during the invasion of Australia back like 200 years ago. So I'm very excited to read this. I've heard really good things. It's won quite a few awards. It's been shortlisted quite a bit. I'm very excited. I also am quite keen on reading some like TikTok favorites. I'm not on TikTok, so I can't begin to even think of how many books I don't actually know that are very popular on TikTok, but I know that there's Red, White and Royal Blue, which just seems like a really corny kind of rom-com book, which, you know, is a fun read. The AWST 6, which seems very, well, very TikTok vibed. Seems also like the dark academia kind of thing, because it's got an academic society in it with like magicians and stuff, so that's definitely up that alley. But it seems pretty interesting, so I'm excited to see what that's about. I'm also looking forward to reading The Paris Apartment. I think I've said this before, but I'm really not good with thrillers, but I feel like this kind of seems like a whodunit kind of vibe, like an Agatha Christie kind of thing, so I think I can read this and enjoy it because I do quite like the kind of like whodunit, just kind of thriller aspect instead of it being scary and scaring me. I'm also looking forward to reading My Year of Rest and Relaxation by Otessa Moshfegh. I've heard people say that this is a very kind of good representation on depression. Not to be too honest, but I do have quite a good experience on that, and just wanting to not move for a year and do absolutely nothing and just fall into a coma. Yeah, so I'm kind of interested to see what this is like. Who knows, it might be very triggering for me, but you should always give it a go. Or at least that's my kind of point of view. If I know it's going to be triggering for me, then I won't read it, but I don't know about this yet, so I'm quite excited to read it. Oh, I also have Dracula on my list. I've had it for so long. I think I bought it when I was like 16, and I have always stopped reading it at like the 7th page. I don't know why. So that is a book that I will finish. I will finish it. So that's definitely on my list for a recent kind of thing that I need to get done. Other than that, those are just a couple of the books that I'm hoping to get around to reading in the next few months. What about you guys? Were there any books here that you thought looked particularly interesting? Any of these books, have you read them? Did you like them? Let me know. Give this video a like, comment, subscribe, all of those good things. And I hope you all have a lovely day or night or evening or whatever it is at that time of day where you are. Goodbye, salutations, and take care.